Stocks trade in a tight range today as the street awaits fresh cues for direction. And PSU banks as well as IT show some spark, while capital goods and FMCG lose steam and mid-caps fare better.
The hot realty market in the National Capital Region has now drawn Oberoi Realty after several others like Godrej and Prestige. The acquisition of a sizable land parcel in Gurugram marks Oberoi's entry into the market.
27 of 40 applicants have been approved for the PLI scheme on IT hardware, clearing the way for about 3,000 crore rupees in investments and creation of 50,000 direct jobs in the sector.
An increase in borrowing costs for fintechs will lead to pricier loans, say industry participants, though there's some divergence on expectations of growth rates going forward, along with caution on low-ticket credit.
CNBC confirms OpenAI is hiring former Twitch head Emmett Shear as its new CEO 2 days after the sudden ouster of Sam Altman. A group of investors, including Microsoft and Thrive Capital, had been trying to bring Altman back after being caught unaware by the board's decision. Hello and welcome. You've tuned into Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar and with me is Sonal Bhutra. Sonal, we have a quiet day, at least on the indices, on the frontline indices today. But let's take a look at the overall picture. Well, Nifty 50 is closer to the lower point of the trading session. If you really look at the rates right now, 19,689. Remember, the high point of the day was 19,756 levels. So it's a very small range in which we have seen a lot of volatility when we talk about the frontline index. So 0.2% down at the moment, losing about 40 points. And Sensex is losing about 168 points in trading session right now. Bank Nifty is in the green, 0.1% up. So outperformance is being shown over there. But mid-caps are now in a flattish zone with just about little bit of green tinge. But remember that when markets opened, it was the mid-cap universe which was showing a huge amount of outperformance, and that has been given up with the overall sentiment probably. So quiet day of market on my screens at the moment. Divi's Labs and some of the IT counters like HCL Tech, Wipro are the top gainers on Nifty 50, and advanced decline ratio pretty much remains neck and neck at this point. Sonal.
Oh yes, that's the case when we talk about the benchmarks and the broader markets as well. And as Nisha mentioned, some of these IT names that are doing well. So Nifty IT, that index is up 0.5%. So the outperformance from IT, that continues, and that's been supporting the market for last two trading sessions as well. And that continues today. Nifty PSU Bank is the other one, which is the top gainer. So the likes of SBI, Bank of Baroda, all of them are higher in trade. SBI sitting with gains of around 0.4%. So that is one space also that continues to do well, apart from realty. Let's get going that, because we are seeing a lot of updates coming by, Nisha, and Oberoi Realty is the one which is surging in trade today. This is after the company has announced foray into the Gurugram market. And, this is a market which has been doing well. A lot of these players, they are very bullish on the Gurugram market. Oberoi Realty this time around, they have bought a land parcel there, 14.8 acres of land in Gurugram with a consideration of 597 crore rupees. The potential development area is around 2.6 million square feet for Oberoi Realty here. And they say that they plan to primarily develop a luxury residential group housing project in the space as well. And the transaction that has been ongoing for quite some time, and Oberoi Realty did have plans to expand into newer markets. In fact, in their Q2 con call, they did indicate that they are happy at looking for land acquisition within Mumbai and NCR region as well. So they are looking at lands anywhere there where they are, wherever there is better demand, wherever the pricing is better. And that is something that they have been mentioning for quite some time now. And now they've gone ahead and made this acquisition. The street seems to like this diversification.
All right. Thanks, Sonal, for all the details. Of course, this is one of, event that has really taken place. If we really take a look at year-to-date chart of Oberoi Realty, that particular counter has been going extremely strong in the trades. So that's the picture for you. Now, the FTSE and S&P BSE 100 rejig will come into effect from the 18th of December. Now, Vivek Iyer is here to tell us about the stocks that will be in focus because of this. Tell us, Vivek.
Absolutely right. So this particular index review, as far as the FTSE indices was concerned, was mainly restricted to the new IPOs, stocks that have listed recently, and if there are any stocks or any companies that have emerged out of either M&A activity or demergers or spin-offs. So along expected lines, Mankind Pharma, in the recent listing, that's done quite well. This particular stock has been included by the FTSE in both the all world as well as the all-cap indices. Now, as per IIFL Alternative Research, this particular stock can see inflows of close to $30 million on account of this particular inclusion into the FTSE indices. Now, the other index that we are tracking today is the BSE 100 index, the S&P BSE 100 index. Now, remember, there aren't too many funds that track this particular index, so the flows may not be very material, but this particular index itself is actually used as a benchmark by many fund managers to assess the performance. So on the back of that, the inclusions and exclusions into this particular index becomes quite important. So which are the stocks that are going to be added over here? TVS Motors, Hindustan Aeronautics, PFC, Yes Bank, APL Apollo Tubes, Persistent Systems and IDFC First Banks are the stocks that enter this index. On the other hand, the stocks that come out are Tata Elxsi, Adani Power, Voltas, Bandhan Bank, Emphasis, Crompton Greaves, Consumer Electrical as well as ACC are the ones that make way for the new entrants.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for bringing us all those details, Vivek. Those stocks are on our radar today. Moving on now, Zen Technologies. That stock is surging in trade today after the company secured new export orders worth 42 crore rupees for state-of-the-art defense simulators. Earlier today, we spoke to the management who gave us a guidance on the order book outlook and margins going ahead as well. Listen in.
Updated order book position is about 1,500 crores, and with respect to the execution timeline, we have about 18 months, and this will be executed in the next 18 months. So these are two things, and this is for simulators that we are. So we differentiate very largely between simulators and non-simulator like anti-drone systems. So this is a simulator order that we have got. In terms of exports and domestic, about 400 plus crores is exports, and domestic is about 1,000 crores. Yeah. We expect EBITDA to be maintained around 35%, and we expect that to continue into the next couple of years also. That's the minimum target that we have set internally, a very conservative target. We do hope that we'll do better than that. I would say about, for this year, another 400 to 500 crores worth of orders, the pipeline is there, and we think that we have a good chance of winning most of them, yeah.
All right, another important development. Well, the government has announced that 27 companies, including Dixon Technologies, Dell, HP and Foxconn, have been granted approval under the new production-linked scheme or the PLI incentive scheme for IT hardware. Now, these 27 companies will lead to an additional investment of 3,000 crore rupees and additional production worth 3.5 lakh crore rupees. In fact, my colleague Ashmit Kumar spoke to Saurabh Gupta, who is the CFO of Dixon Technologies, to get his views on the scheme and its impact. Listen in.
I think this is the kind of support that we were looking for. And over a period of time, we feel confident that, one, we'll be able to meet the requirements of the large domestic Indian market, which was presently being serviced through imports. But over a period of 2-3 years, I think so India can potentially become a hub for global markets as well. If you look at every industry requires a particular scale and size, and then the component ecosystem evolves. It has happened in electronic sector, happened in the automotive sector, where India has become a manufacturing hub and an export hub. I think the similar thing is now happening in the electronic sector, led by mobiles, and now hopefully IT hardware as such. We think all the companies put together, 27 companies, including us, I think so the value addition over the next 3 to 4 years can eventually go to 40-45%, if not more. Over the last few years, we've clearly seen that trend is more and more towards outsourcing. The brands want to focus on branding, distribution, and they would not only want to outsource the manufacturing, but also the designing piece. And with over a period of time, the component ecosystem also evolves. So my sense is, eventually we think we'll have a large opportunity of this overall pie.
All right, that's the word coming in from Dixon Technologies. It's time to slip into a break now. The wait goes on as 41 workers are still trapped inside a tunnel in Uttarakhand despite sustained rescue efforts. We'll get you more on that after the short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Well, it's been 9 days since the tunnel collapsed in Uttarakhand. 41 workers are still trapped despite sustained rescue efforts. The rescue team has been able to interact with the trapped workers, but they have not been able to get them to safety. Anshul Singh gets us this report.
If I could just show you in the visuals over here, this is the water body source, and from here the vertical drilling will start within the next few minutes or probably by evening is what we are being told. You can see the markings that have been made over here. So the basic plan is there will be 2 pipes that will be drilled through it. The first pipe would be the lifeline pipe which will be approximately 80 meters long, and the second pipe will be the rescue pipe, and through that vertical rescue pipe it is expected that the people would be taken out. But yes, it is going to be a very, very long haul and a long process, because digging through 80 meters of mountain, the kind of terrain that is present over here is going to be a very, very long haul, and hence the work is also going on from at least 5 other directions just to make sure that if at all any of these plans fail, the other plans remain continue to remain at work, so that people who are trapped inside for the last 9 days, they could be reached at the earliest. Now this is one of the plans that has been put in place by the rescuers, whereas the easiest plan what the rescuers feel still is drilling through the American auger machine, but that drilling has still not started over the last 48 hours now. So yes, it remains to be seen when will that start, but yes, all these plans that are in work, that are in tandem, we are expecting that within the next few hours the heavy machines that have been called in will reach over here, and post that we can expect that finally the drilling process will start.
All right, the rescue operations are on, and Anshul has been giving us all the ground report on how it's going. In fact, he also spoke to the international tunneling expert Arnold Dix about the challenges over there, and this is what he had to say. Listen in.
We're in the Himalayas.
Right.
Building a tunnel through this is extremely difficult. So rescuing is also extremely difficult, but we're going to get the 41 men out. We're going to make sure no rescuers get hurt in the process.
Okay, you're praying that the rescue operations are successful as soon as possible. Moving on now, over 1 billion Indians were left heartbroken after Team India lost to Australia in the finals of the Cricket World Cup at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. Having lost the toss and put into bat on a tacky surface, Team India could only manage 240 runs on the board despite scoring 80 in the first power play, as wickets at regular intervals put the brakes on the scoring. In response, the bowlers had Australia 3 down in the first 10 overs, but Travis Head and Manas Labuschagne stitched a partnership of 190 runs to take Australia to their 6th world title. Head was adjudged man of the match for his 137, while Virat Kohli was adjudged player of the tournament for scoring over 750 runs.
So that was a very big moment yesterday, and everybody is trying to forget yesterday's onslaught on the Indian cricket team, Sonal. But at least the hopes and aspirations of the Indians could have been fueled by at least a good contest by India, and actually Australia was ruling the match from the very beginning, and that's what is something that has really disappointed the fans of India. In fact, I would say that South Africa versus Australia semi-finals was a much better contest, where South Africa was really trying hard to salvage whatever they could. But India could have given a much better, bowling attack. But as we say, that was a bad day for India, and that's what a lot of disheartened and heartbroken Indians there. But that's behind us. We'll slip into a short breather to digest all of this. But on the other side, remember an important past struggle taking place, and also CNBC confirms that OpenAI will hire former Twitch CEO to be Sam Altman's replacement as the CEO of the company, and details after a very short break. Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch. Let's take a look at the markets at this point. And yes, there is a slight bit of recovery from the lower end that we have seen in the last about 15 minutes of trade. So Nifty 50 is just about losing 25 odd points. And 19,700 level has been crossed once again. By that, a lot of that momentum is coming in from two pockets. One, Bank Nifty, that was about on 0.1% high about 15 minutes back, is moving on to 0.2. A lot is to be done from ICICI Bank as well as Kotak Mahindra Bank. Those two have gained. And apart from that, the consumer discretionaries and FMCG companies like Britannia, HUL, Tata Consumer, these are some of the counters which have seen some bit of buying and impacting the market momentum. All right, moving on to a big global story then. Let's talk about that and the power struggle and the kind of flip-flop in the top brass that is taking place there. We are talking about OpenAI, and the co-founder, Sam Altman, will reportedly not return to lead the tech startup. Remember, there was a lot of speculation around that. Now, despite a weekend of negotiations over his future, and this after he was ousted by the company's board on Friday, and CNBC has confirmed that Emmett Shear, who is the co-founder of video streaming platform Twitch, would lead the company. In fact, CNBC's Arbagali has more details on what's really panning out there.
Quite significant, of course, because this is somebody who co-founded the company but was ousted on Friday by 4 of the 6 board members, while the other, they being Greg Blockman, not actually participating in this boardroom coup, and in fact also then resigning as president of OpenAI then on Friday as well after the news. A new CEO or interim CEO was then put in charge then, who then held the position. But it seems that early this morning we've also gotten word of a few changes then at OpenAI as well. Now, negotiations had seemingly been in place for Sam Altman to return to the business. This was led by a few investors as well as companies that have been involved with OpenAI for quite some time. Let's remember that, of course, at the top end, OpenAI is still a charity, actually, while it does have a capped profit segment of its business, which is aimed at trying to lure in as many qualified and really great people to be able to advance its hopes to create OpenAI as it is and really enhance artificial intelligence overall.
Okay, all right. With that, let's move on to the latest update from the conflict in West Asia. And Israel continues to expand their ground offensive in Gaza. The US and Israeli officials say that negotiations are underway for a hostage deal. We have CNBC's Dan Murphy joining us to get us the latest updates.
This would be a hostage release in exchange for a multiple-day pause in fighting. And we saw, just speaking on Sunday alongside the EU Foreign Policy Chief, Joseph Borrell, was Qatar's Prime Minister, who weighed in saying that negotiations are still moving at pace, although no deal has been done yet. Here's what he had to say. Listen in.
The sticking points, honestly, at this stage are more practical, logistical, not really something represent the core of the deal. The efforts has, still ongoing, and we communicate with both parties, whether it's with the Israelis or with Hamas, and we see there is a good progress, especially happened in the last few days.
So this is a positive step forward in the absence of a full ceasefire, and it comes as diplomatic efforts ramp up to find a pathway to stop the bloodshed. The ongoing diplomatic negotiations also come as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu comes under increased pressure to get these hostages out. We've seen multiple rallies taking place over the weekend in Israel, and of course pressure is also rising on US President Joe Biden to move faster here to get a deal done and to release these hostages as well, given how polarizing this has become for him domestically, politically. In the Arab world as well, we are also seeing Saudi Arabia's foreign minister leading a delegation to Beijing today to work among the Arab leaders and international leaders to bring about an end to the war and to ramp up pressure on leaders globally to continue to facilitate the movement of supplies and humanitarian aid into Gaza as this war now passes its 40th day.
All right, that particular conflict really continues. With that, we're completely out of time on this edition of Business Lunch. But more news and updates on all the market action continues right after this short break. Thanks so much.